Breaking news. Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested by the feds. He was arrested last night in New York City per grand jury indictment. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not surprised that this happened, but I'm going to keep it even extra real. I believe Puffy also knew. That is why for the past 2 weeks, he's been, quote unquote, living it up in New York City. It's a saying, as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And when it comes to Puffy, that applies to him very well. If you look at the if you look at the beginning of his career, where did Puffy come out from? New York City, his home. He born and raised in Harlem up until around about the age of 12, 13. And then he and his mother, they moved to Mount Vernon, New York. She bought a house and had him attend private school to receive a better education. Then he goes to Howard University. Then he interns at Motown. He is a party promoter before that at Howard University. He majors in business administration. And he decides that after 2 years, 1989, what would have been his junior year at Howard, I want to make it big in the music industry. Hip hop is hot. New Jack Swing is hot. I want to strike the iron while it's hot. Smartest move ever. He goes back to New York City because he was traveling to and from New York to Washington, D.C. by train. And it was just too much. He couldn't do it. He didn't have a lot of money. He was scraping by. I mean, the man, you could hate him for everything he's done in music to people, but the man was grinding when he started out. And Puffy was extremely hungry, and he stayed in the city. His whole, foundation of his career is NYC. So he goes from that to going into Uptown Records. He's, doing A&R for Jodeci. Then he works with Mary J. Blige. Then he goes to work with other artists, and then he gets fired by Andre Harrell. Not because he's done anything wrong, but in 1993 he got fired because he said, "You too good to work under me or anyone. You a star. You're a mogul. And if you keep working under me, you're gonna lose. You're gonna wither. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to break out and make it big like how I did." And he did that. Regardless of how you feel about him, he did that. But after the whole thing with Biggie, Puffy started moving away from the city. He started branching out into other places, Atlanta. He started moving to LA, which is ironic because Biggie got killed in LA. He started having houses, not just throughout the country, but even overseas. But the saying is, as it was in the beginning, so shall be in the end. It's like a full circle. And what happened with Puffy getting arrested in NYC is a full circle. It's a perfect, blaxploitation film. If you watch Black Caesar, if you watch some of the other ones I can't name, but the anti-hero in the movie, or even a villain, always gets arrested where they would start out. And Puffy started out in New York. And it's like, for me, when I saw that, when he was hanging out in New York the past 2 weeks, I said, Puffy is getting ready to go down. And he's trying to enjoy the last moments of his life because New York are his happier moments. This is the city where he was born and raised, and the city where he made it big. He had his own off building. Bad Boy Entertainment had their own building in Midtown. I used to pass by that building every single day when I was in high school on the bus. They had their own building. And the building was maybe 15, 16 stories. It was a big building. They had the whole building. So if you think about it, if a person who knows they're going to go to jail. They've been, arrested. Their home was raided by the feds. Wouldn't you want to enjoy your last moments of freedom in a city where you made it big? Where you became a multi-millionaire? Some people say he was even a billionaire one time. I don't know. I kind of question that. But you would want to make it big at the place. You would want to visit the place where you made it big. And then he was hanging out with people that he did dirty. He was hanging out with G-Dep, who just got released from prison around about, I think it was November, December of last year. He was hanging out with him. He was hanging out with all the people who in the last 2 decades, the 2000s and the 2010s, you would have never seen him be around those people. He was hanging out with them. They say Puffy was in Harlem, walking the streets. I didn't see him, but they say he was in Harlem. So my question is, why can't it be fathomable for him to just be like, I know they're going to get me. Let me just, my time. Let me just enjoy my city. And then once they get me, I'll get this all out of my system. And when they ready to get me, they'll have me. And I wouldn't even be surprised as to, I wouldn't even be surprised if Puffy called the feds and told them, I'm at the hotel, pick me up. Because it's too easy. I think Puffy was ready to go. I think Puffy was ready to stop running and stop, fighting this off. And I think Puffy was ready to just, get it over with. However, do I think Puffy's going to go to jail for a long stretch? No. Puffy is going to sing like a canary. He's going to sing like he did on that song last night with Keisha Cole. He going to sing. That was my song, by the way, in 2006. That was my jam. But he is going to sing. And I don't blame him. Because my only issue with this is that you all waited all these years to get this man. And you got this man not because of, any... I'm not okay. Let me change that. Let me erase that. I feel as though the media turning on Puffy is just weird. I think the media turning on Puffy up until the Cassie leaked video, I think is weird. But I'm going to say something. I've never liked Dawn Richard. She's always been a weirdo to me. She didn't like Aubrey O'Day. When Aubrey O'Day was talking about her experience with Puffy, she always discounted it. She always was riding with Puffy. It wasn't until the past couple of weeks or months that she turned on him. It wasn't until Cassie was brave enough to file that suit that she started singing. And I think the only reason why she did it is because she wants a piece of the pie, because her career never really careered after Danny Kane and Dirty Money. And I hated that group, Dirty Money. I hated that group. But your boy, Sean Diddy Combs, he got arrested by the feds. I believe that they picked him up. I believe that he called them to say, I'm ready, I'm here, come and get me. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think another reason why he probably wanted it to happen like that is because I don't think that he wants his children to go down. Now, they say that he was photographed walking through Manhattan with his son, Christian King Combs, early in the night, and he was taken into custody at Park Hyatt, New York by Homeland Security Investigations, which typically handles sex trafficking probes. So they got him on a sex trafficking investigation. And here's my thing. I believe it. I believe it's true. But here's the catch. I don't believe he's the only one. That is my problem with this. I don't believe he's the only one. And that is what's making me angry about that. Why are we just going after just only him? you know? So with that being said, I'm signing out. And, I'll, talk about this later on. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful night. Get some rest. Get some good sleep. I'm about to go back to bed maybe in the next 2 or 3 hours or so. And I'll catch y'all later.